Hello and welcome to Bible Bites Daily. Today we have reached Deuteronomy chapter 2. Brothers and sisters, can you imagine standing at the edge of a vast desert, a scorching sun beating down, sand swirling around your ankles? This is where our ancestors in faith, the Israelites, found themselves 40 years after fleeing Egypt, staring at the daunting path stretching towards the promised land. Deuteronomy 2 reads like an ancient travelogue guiding us their journey. But it's not just a dusty map, it's a map urged with divine purpose, urged with God's unwavering presence. So, what are we going to learn from this chapter? First of all, we have to remember God's provision. In verse 7, it reminds us that the Lord your God has blessed you in all you have done. He has watched over your journey through this vast wilderness. These 40 years, the Lord your God has been with you and you have lacked nothing. For 40 years they wandered, a generation born in the desert, never knowing the comfort of a settled home. Yet God sustained them. Manna fell from the sky, water gushed from the rocks, and their clothes miraculously never wore out. They grumbled, sure, they questioned, but through it all, God's provision never faltered. So, what is the lesson in it for us? Look back and remember, we too face our own wilderness, moments of uncertainty, moments of doubt and hardship. Take a moment, like the Israelites, to recall God's faithfulness in your life. The times He provided when you felt lost, the strength He gave you when you felt weak. Remember His constant presence in your life, even in the scorching sands of your own challenges. Next thing what we are looking at is verses 9 to 19. These tell a fascinating story. God instructs the Israelites not to attack Edom, Moab and Ammon. These nations, though tempting targets, were under His protection. He had already given them their lands. Imagine standing on a mountain top, gazing at a fertile valley just beyond your border. The temptation to claim it would be immense, especially after years of wandering. But God teaches them a crucial lesson: respect for boundaries. His sovereignty extends beyond their immediate needs, encompassing the destinies of other nations. So, whatever the situation that we might be in, we should be able to respect those boundaries that God has given us. We often encounter opportunities that might seem like shortcuts to our goals, but are they aligned with God's plan? That is what we need to question ourselves. Seek His guidance, discern His boundaries, and trust that He will lead you to the right path, even if it seems longer or more challenging. The final verses of this chapter describes the Israelites encountering the fearsome Sihon and Og, kings whose lands lay on the path to the promised land. These were giants, literally and figuratively, obstacles that could make even the bravest hearts tremble. But God reassures them, do not be afraid of him, for I will deliver him into your hands. Along with his entire army and his land, I'll do to him what I did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, whom we completely destroyed along with his people and his land. So, what are we going to learn from this chapter? Face your fears with God by your side. We all have our giants. We all have our anxieties, insecurities, seemingly insurmountable challenges. But remember, God is a giant slayer. When fear threatens to paralyze you, hold on to His promise. He has overcome the world and He will overcome your giants too. So, in order for us to step forward in faith, it's not just about a journey. It's not about a dusty journey through the wilderness. It's a roadmap of our own journey of faith. It reminds us to remember God's provision, respect His boundaries, and face our fears with faith. So, brothers and sisters, as we stand at the edge of our own wilderness, let us take a deep breath, Draw strength from God's past faithfulness and step forward with confidence. The promised land awaits, and He'll be with us every step of the way. Remember, the journey is part of the destination. Trust in God, learn from His lessons, and step boldly into the future He has planned for you. Thank you for listening. May God bless you all in abundance.